Without any further ado, I have pleasure in introducing to you Emil Zankov, who is a teacher at Oliver College for Year 11 and 12, Computer Gaming, Lego Robotics and Electronics. He is also responsible for vocational education and training course in 3D modelling. Previously he has taught as an ICT coach and in adult education. He has a Master's in Educational Computing, which he has further enhanced by becoming a Google certified teacher in 2011. At his site, Emil is responsible for the school using the Google platform to enhance the teaching and learning through collaboration, and all students are currently being set up with EPortfolios to collect evidence of their learning. We're very pleased to have Emil as a member of our Lead Teacher Association, and also here tonight to share how to collect evidence of your teaching practice using a digital platform. So welcome, and over to you, Emil.
Thank you, Patricia. It's all right. Don't clap me yet. Afterwards, yeah. All right, let me just get my screen so you can see it, and then I'll do a bit of an introduction and we'll get started. Okay. Oops, that doesn't look that flash. It's kind of wonky. Give me a sec. Make it a little bit better looking for you. Okay, so that's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit stretched, but work. Okay, so my name's Emil Zankov, and like Patricia said, I teach at Mike Oliphant. I've been there for the last 3 years. This session, I sort of sometimes hope people bring their iPads or their laptops, because that way you can sort of make notes and we can write them, but you can sort of actively do some of the things I'm going to show you. Aside from that, though, I want to make it because there's not a lot of us, we can sort of make it a really, towards the end, a bit of an informal event and have a discussion around ePortfolios. So my role is really to give you, an understanding of what are ePortfolios, why would you use them, but then to sort of go into how we set up our ePortfolios at the school, and then from there, like I said, have a bit of a discussion about what you might actually do and what your next step might be. Because I think I've been to so many conferences where one of the worst things is you sort of like walk away all pumped up, but then the actual doing part tends to sort of be forgotten when you're picking up the roll book in the next morning. So to try to leave you at a point where you feel like, okay, I can do this and I can get through it. So I'll go more into my digital portfolio in a second, but I'll give you a sort of brief background into digital portfolios, just as like for my own reference. Who here has heard about digital portfolios or attended a presentation about them? Okay, so maybe half, bit less. So some of this might be a recap, and it can sort of cement what you already know, and some of it might be new information that questions what you already know. The term digital portfolios and ePortfolios is very transferable, so they really mean the same thing. I have a bad habit of sometimes switching between the two terms, so they're the same thing. That's all you need to remember. Okay, if this gives you vertigo, let me know, and I won't do it. Bit of a brief, as Patricia said, I really sort of started looking at digital portfolios on a whole school level when I became a Google certified teacher to use Google Sites. That being said, you can use a lot of different tools to create your digital portfolio. It doesn't just have to be with Google Sites, which I'm going to show you, which is free. You can use a range of other resources. Okay, so why would you have an ePortfolio? Well, I mean, one big thing for me is that how do I manage a lot of the things that I've been doing? I've been teaching since the end of 2008, so not too long, but in that time, in that short period of time, there's a whole range of things that have happened. Facebook really exploded in terms of being used at schools. Mark Oliphant College, we have now 1,400 likes on our official page. We also then have our digital portfolios. Teachers like myself also have YouTube channels. So really the question that you've got to ask yourself is, what is your digital DNA? And this really was brought home to me 2 days ago when one of my year 11 students emailed me. He put my name into Google Images and up came one of my profile pictures of me in Egypt on one of the camels, and he also found a screen grab of one of my YouTube videos, and you know, he made a smart ass year 11 comment, but it just made me again reinforce that idea of, you know, what is my digital DNA and how is it sort of out there in the world. And by creating a digital portfolio, as I would sort of talk about, is one way for you to, I guess, control what your image is. And I know it sounds like, hold on, we're not in marketing, I don't need a marketing manager, but in a way, I guess you creating a digital portfolio, it sort of does stamp a little bit about who you are in the online world and what you do. And if you don't do it, it's not like someone else is going to create a digital portfolio about you, but it leaves a little bit of an empty void in terms of if someone was to look about, you know, who is this person and what can I find out about them. So recently, teacher registration has sort of started to talk about evidence of work being linked directly to your teacher re-registration. So that's going to be something to be aware of. And I guess for me, having a digital portfolio, the DECD have already said that applying for positions and jobs, one of the boxes is going to be put up a link to your digital portfolio or a reference to what who you are. So it won't just be like that one-page statement or whatever it is now. It will start to begin like, hey, we need to see a little bit more. We want to maybe see some of your student work, which you obviously can't put in a one-pager. We want to maybe see some video of you teaching. We want to see pictures, and they might not explicitly say that, but schools will start to like just naturally look for that. So it's really interesting in that sense. Okay, so what can you do right now? This presentation was used at another talk that I gave. So in that we discussed about mapping the first 5 pages of your ePortfolio. We can sort of do that later tonight if we've got time. I'm sort of timing myself for about an hour. So if we've got time, we can have a look at what would be the first 5 pages if you're creating a digital portfolio, and you don't need a computer to do that. You can sort of just map that out with half a page of notes. It's a great way to, I guess, plan out. I can't do my AST2 because I'm step 6, and I can't apply for step 9. But to me, having some sort of map or plan of all my work is important, because in the future, when it comes to national registration, the AITSL, all these acronyms, they're looking for ways of being able to show what you've done. And so the last thing that I want is to sort of lug around a huge folder of work. I'd rather have it mapped out online where I can easily update it. That's my Twitter account, but I'm going to give you details about how to contact me. You can Google my name like my student did and see me in Egypt. Okay. Digital portfolios, I guess it's one of those things, like I said at the end of this talk, that I really want to leave you by the end of this presentation with some sort of impetus and feeling that, yes, I can do this, and then a way to start it. And what I always say is, you really should set up some type of group within your school, and that might just be the person that you work next to, and you sort of say, hey, once a term, let's meet up and do a little bit more in our digital portfolio. And it really helps in that way because you sort of push each other. Obviously, more than once a term would be great, but once every 10 weeks, it's not asking a lot. And you'll find that if you're documenting work and you're taking pictures of student work, I've taught as a primary school teacher briefly, and I remember the work that students were creating, often it'd be sort of like creation and then destruction, you know, it's somewhere disappeared, be up on the wall, and you'd lose a little bit of that. So documenting all that work by taking photos and so on, you will eventually go, well, what do I do with all this? It's that sort of notion of you take all those photos on a digital camera but you never really print them. This is somewhere where you can actually say, hey, this is some of the work that my students have done. So evidence collector, if you've got a mobile phone and it can take photos, then you've got an evidence collector, and it's really important to use it. A lot of schools are now giving out iPads to teachers and so on, and these iPads have cameras on them, so it makes sense just to document. But then you've got to take those photos and not keep them to yourself. You've got to somehow demonstrate and show them to others. And I'll talk about the issues of privacy and student identification, because that is important, especially when we talk about digital portfolios. So we'll cover that as well. If I sort of say something and it sparks, you know, a question in you, I think it's okay in this sort of group that I'll answer it. I will give you time at the end of the presentation as well. So let's have a look at some digital portfolios. So this is mine, and it is done with Google Sites. Okay, so I've taught multimedia and so on, and I'll show you some from teachers that I've worked with. Theirs are, you know, really whiz-bang creative. I wanted to keep mine very clean and very precise, because there's a few, I guess, for me it was more about how do I get the content out to my students and parents that have a look at it in a nice, fashionable way. And it's something to be aware of as you create your digital portfolio. Think about the best websites that you visited. They're generally pretty clean in terms of their layout and how they look.
So is Google Sites like a template thing?
Yep, exactly right. Google Sites runs from your web browser. So Internet Explorer, Chrome, Safari, it runs directly from your web browser. You don't install anything, and I'll show you a few. I'll actually go through with you on how I might embed a video and just take you through the process.
And is that sites like, you just put in Google?
If you, yep, if you,
SIT.
yeah, if you search Google Sites, it will be up the top there that you can have a look at. So as a school, can everyone see that okay? I can zoom in and things if you can't. But as a school, as a senior school, we looked at the headings that we might use. So in our case, in the senior school, we say, well, we want something about, you know, general information, maybe a picture. There's me with Lego Man. Nathan Sawaya, he used to be a corporate lawyer, and then he got into creating Lego sculptures, and now he does that for a living. So that's a random fact. We have a philosophy page, so just things about me as a teacher and what I sort of see in students. It's sometimes hard writing these, because I know for myself it's changed a lot over the years, but I guess my reinforcement to you is this is never done and it's never finished. If you ever think a digital portfolio is finished, then you've retired, and you're not putting anything more. But as long as you're teaching, then it's a continuing growing of work, because you're always going to have new students and you're always going to see new things. Okay. The community page. So I'll run through these and then I'll show you how Google Sites runs a little bit as well, because I'm sure some of you are interested in terms of the nitty-gritty before I look at other digital portfolios. The community page. So, it's always important, I guess, to associate yourself in terms of showing my students, I guess, my year 11s, year 12s, that I am a human outside of the classroom, even though they think I have no life and that's all I do is at their beck and call. So me in the community doesn't mean you're right, I live at 1 2nd Avenue, McGill, and it's just a general brief for your parents, something that whatever you would say to a parent, possibly at a parent-teacher interview or, as a general talk, you might put on there. So I've told on my community page that, you know, I enjoy community sport. I entered that crazy True Grit thing. Don't ask me why. I'm part of the Lead Teachers Association and also DATA, which is Design and Tech Association. I've visited different countries and so on. So that's, and you know, to be honest, I probably won't change that for a long time. It's just a brief snapshot. Okay, the curriculum is where I guess all the real business starts to happen. I teach Year 11 gaming, vet gaming, Year 12 gaming, research project, and so I'll have those as my subjects on there. I wouldn't put electronics, Lego robotics and so on, other subjects that I've taught in the past. You've got to sort of, even though you've done that, it has to be current to a point where, okay, if someone's coming to your site and they want to see what you're doing, your curriculum, then let's have a look. If you did teach, let's say years 3 and 4, and now you're a year 7 teacher, and you had a whole wealth of material, you might put like another link and call it past curriculum areas. There'd be nothing wrong with that. So you wouldn't lose anything. You could put it somewhere else. And this is about like, how would you, while I'm talking, I guess it's important to think about, and I'll stop in a second, to think about what would you map out in terms of your website. What would you put on there? So I'll give you a moment to think about it and then I'll continue. Curriculum sort of is, you know, I'll show you a few things. Who here has used Google Docs before? Okay, great. One? Did I see one? No? Yep, one at the back. Okay, so Google Docs is basically a bit like Google Sites, which runs directly off a browser, off a web browser, but you can create documents, Word documents, PowerPoints, spreadsheets and those types of things. So what I do a lot is I link what I do with my Google Docs and I put it onto my Google site. So I'm not doubling up on work. So this is basically what they would call an embedded slideshow from my Google Docs, okay? And it's a site, you know, home group notes that I've given students in the morning. You know, I'll plug in the projector just like you might do and show up some slides, and so it's connected to what I'm doing on Google Docs, okay? So it's just embedded like you would see a video on a news site, okay? Same type of principle. I'll show you this and then we'll go through a few other things. Year 11 gaming, it works the same way. So this is me linking my Google Docs into what I'm looking at my Google site. So I'm never doubling up. I mean, I could have here, if you had assignment sheets for students that you'd get handed them up, you could have like PDF links to those, okay? So think of it as that way. All right.
Can I just ask, when you do Google Docs, like if you were to update something in your Google Docs, do you then have to...
Nope. It
okay, so it's
automatically syncs. So this is what Google Docs looks like if you're a student or a teacher or someone using it. You'll notice like I'm in Chrome, I'm in a web browser, but I'm sure these headings up the top look very familiar to you. They look exactly like Word or, you know, if you use a Mac, Pages. Okay, File, Edit, Insert a picture, I can bold, I can underline.
So can you save that? Does it only save to whatever?
It saves to the cloud. It saves.
Save anywhere?
Yep. You can actually export everything that you do. So you could, if you wanted to, you could go download as, and you could download it as Microsoft Word. You could download it as a PDF. All those types of things. What's great about it is, and I'll do this right now to show you, as I type, okay, some gibberish, up the top it says saving, and it saves automatically somewhere up in the net. Okay, I don't know where, as you know, somewhere out there. You know. Someone in Google land knows that my Year 11 gaming assignment is due on the 26th of February. I don't really care. You know, like if
Year 11 gaming.
Yeah, that's the subject. I can, yeah, it's a legit subject. It's not like we don't just play computer games. A lot of people are like, what? So anyway, what my student would do then, they would click on that and they would actually go and they could get that assignment sheet. Now, student would not be able to edit that, okay? For a student, all they would see is this, and that would be hidden from them, okay? So there's all those things, like obviously I wouldn't want students changing anything. Okay, then we go across to professional learning. I guess this is something that is a lot more relevant. I haven't fixed this page yet, but I'll show you why. If I go to national accreditation. So professional learning is important because you're all here, you know, learning about EPortfolios, but in the grand scheme of things, it is starting to become, you know, really relevant for everyone who is a teacher. So even though you might come out of this and go, well, I'm not ready to start a digital portfolio, you're going to somehow need to start collating information and so on. So I use digital portfolios as my way of doing that. You can do it in any way that you want. A national accreditation, so I've got a little link here, the following page relating to national accreditation. If you click on that, eventually it takes you to, you know, the teacher standards. I'm sure have you familiar with the website? Okay, so it's quite a good website in terms of, you know, certification, illustrations of practice and so on. How that links with my digital portfolio, and this is what I mean by it's a work in progress. I'm going to start to have links up here, standards by domain, so professional engagement, practice, and I forget the third one at the moment. But if I click on that, and it will change in a second. Okay, so I was actually doing a little bit of work on this today. I did this the other day, but I started writing and then I actually deleted it. I thought, no, I can just show people how I might go about it, so that way you can see it in progress. So I've picked a key point 6.3, and that's all about initiating with colleagues and improving practice. And I've started to put down evidence of how I've done that. So I'm what they call a teacher champion through ESA. They're an organisation that is starting to bring out a Facebook-like service for all teachers. They want to launch it across Australia, so I'm part of the trial group. 2012-13, I did some ongoing ePortfolio mentoring, and if you click on that, I won't do it right now, it actually takes you to my YouTube page, which has some videos that I recorded as screen captures on people you know, work or showing people ePortfolios. I did some development of Lego robotics and mentoring on staff, so I haven't put up a video yet of that. I've got a few pictures. As I was going through this, I sort of started to think, oh man, I've done all this other stuff, but crap, I didn't take a photo, or I didn't do a picture, or I don't have anything written on paper. So it's sort of like a reinforcement of for myself. The video camera over there and things is a bit linked to that, but it's also linked to a project that I'm doing with a school in America. So that's why we're sort of documenting our work. Someone asked me, do you videotape your teaching in school yet? And we're not up to that stage, and we're not doing that at the moment, but I remember doing that once in uni as part of your assignments, and at the time I sort of thought, oh, this is a bit cheesy, and you sort of leave it, and now you've been teaching for 5 years. But I've been reflecting and thinking, well, it wouldn't be that bad to set up a camera and videotape yourself teaching. It's embarrassing, but I wouldn't mind seeing like how I actually interact reflecting on it. But I guess the issues at the moment in terms of the students and so on doesn't really lend to it. But in terms of this sense, it's definitely okay. So what I would do next here is, and I'll show you how Google Sites works. Keep me on track as well. If I go over, you got to tell me. I haven't. Google Sites runs straight off the browser. So I've clicked on Edit Page, and I can actually start typing straight into there. So it looks exactly like that Google Docs that I was talking to you about, but I'm actually editing a website. I probably should have told you before that anything on this digital portfolio is accessible by everyone. Okay, so all my assignment sheets that I give to the students, the work that I link them to, everything is completely open to anyone on the internet. So there's nothing secure or there's nothing that I've sort of hidden on there.
So if we don't use Google Docs
Yep.
or Google Site,
I'm going to show you another one.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm not at the stage where I just want to publicise this. I just want to do it for my own benefit.
Yep.
One day I've got it there if I have to,
Present it.
go for a job.
Yeah. Yep. No, and we had a great discussion when I ran this session before. The lady was sort of saying to me that, oh, but I don't want to put anything on there. My school's really narky about, you know, privacy and all those types of things, and they're very edgy about, you know, we don't have Facebook pages and those things. And I said, well, you can actually hide anything that you do on Google Sites completely. It doesn't even have to exist, but you can create either that, or I'll show you a few other ways to do it. And then when you want to, you can put it on there, or you can completely leave it hidden. And like you said, if you go for a job, you can send someone a secret link which only they can see. I guess for me, it's more about linking with the parents. So if I go to a parent-teacher interview night, and I can show you a few emails that I've sent recently, you know, Josh is away for the next week on a camp excursion. Can you please photocopy all the work that he needs to do and put it in so-and-so's pigeonhole? I'm not doing that. Replied back, here's my website link. Okay, if Josh needs it hard copy, tell me, I'll print it. But, you know, I knew he had internet access. All the assignment sheets are on there. Boom, send. I didn't hear back. But that was like one example that constantly comes up, like, you know, here's the work, or parent-teacher interview comes in. Oh, what are they doing at the moment? Well, actually, here's the website. If you've got internet access, you can have a look at it. You can always download things if parents don't have internet or if they're not able to get it. But it's getting to that stage now. It's almost like filtering everywhere. So, all right.
So,
yep.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Well, a lot of schools are looking at Moodles and Edmodos and stuff like that. So how is that different to this thing? Okay, so
Moodles and Edmodos and those types of things are generally restricted intranet sort of to the school. What I'm talking about is an ePortfolio which links to you as an individual, as a person, and your work.
Do you do that with your school, like something that is more just for you and the school, not for us, if we wanted to now see your school life?
You could. I guess for me, it's sort of about networking, and networking on a major scale. We go to the...
Your students as well, though?
Say again?
Aren't you almost networking your students as well?
What do you mean by that?
Well, because you would have things in there that would have their names on it, or...
No, these are all my assignment sheets and work that I'd give them up in class. So...
They don't contact you via...
No, there's no student on here identified that shouldn't be. It's actually like what you would give to the students in terms of an assignment sheet or updates or whatever. That's what I'm giving them up here.
I suppose because I'm from a primary school.
Yep.
Where, you know, everything's like secure, you don't...
Yeah. And I guess because we're a birth to Year 12 school, I'll show you examples of some of our primary school teachers' digital portfolio pages. There, they might take, okay, the student does a work and they've created, this is even maybe for the junior primary kids, they've created a painting they've been looking at Humpty Dumpty, and they've done a model of Humpty Dumpty, and they've done a few other things. The teacher would come along and take photos of that work, okay, and then if they wanted to, they could put those photos up on the digital portfolio page, not identify which student there was. But I was talking to a teacher and they thought, what if we, during parent-teacher interview nights, agreed on an acronym with the parent about the student? So the student's name's Josh, but let's talk, kids love gaming or avatar names. Okay, their online name is going to be Superman 256, okay, or something like that. And so what the teacher would do is put up the photo of the Humpty Dumpty and the painting and put great work, Superman, you know. And so the parent would know who, you know, that was their student's work, and they would only know that. There's ways to get around it. I think what we sort of sometimes, like just how we've been sort of raised in this internet world, is to instantly like lock without, and sometimes if we don't, and that's why it's great to have these discussions, go, well, wait a minute, I didn't think about that, and that might be a fun way for the kid to enjoy it, and they probably might go, you know, get a kick out of, oh, that's my work, you know, I'm Superman or whatever, and no one would ever identify that person as long as, you know.
They would obviously have something though that signed through parents in the school or something in terms of usage of that, because I mean I know I did a project last year and the students' work was published by the department and therefore had to have signed papers and everything with it. So obviously if you do like a blanket one at the beginning saying there's some kind of chance your child's work will be displayed here, you approve,
definitely,
without their face or anything, even though it was their work, we still had to get all of the
permission,
that was through the department, so.
Definitely. I think, I mean, we've been, if you have a look at our Facebook page, I mean, we're putting up so much student work at the moment, and I think we sort of work on the basis of, you know, work with the parent. Are they happy with it? Okay, go with the photos. And the department sort of went to Mark Oliver and said, oh, how are you doing your social networking? You got 1,400 people liking your page. Who are they? Well, they're the parents. You know, have you got approvals for everyone for their work? Not really. We've just asked the parent, and you know, that's how it's been. So definitely, I think it's sort of like in this case, it's sometimes you got to go back to your school and go, well, you know, how would we do this? And you might, you know, turn around and go, oh yeah, if you're only taking pictures of student work, yeah, go for it. You know, don't associate with a name. Or they might turn around and say, you know, fill out the paperwork. You know, do it by the book. So yeah, there's a few ways. What I would do then here is change the font. Okay, I'm not going to spend time doing it. Okay, identify and plan professional learning needs. I think I had that open. Okay, around here. And there's a few: graduate, proficient, highly accomplished, lead. I was looking at a few here, and I've got a link, some of my stuff. So, analyse the Australian professional standards for teachers to plan personal professional development goals, support colleagues to identify and achieve personal development goals, and pre-service teachers to improve classroom practice. So, back in 2011, I did a talk to some pre-service UniSA students, and I've got a link to that PowerPoint which I ran through them. So here, okay, I wouldn't actually, that was 2010. Okay, UniSA speech to students to pre-service teachers. Okay, and as a reminder, PowerPoint to be uploaded. Okay, I might put that to myself and save the page. Okay, I've made it bold. I probably should go, and that was it. That's how I would, and now I would continue. And I haven't really decided yet on the third column. It's probably more something else linked, but I mean, it's one of those things that we can talk about as a group, and you know, how would you lay it out. I've got other things here that I'm part of in terms of professional learning. This would take you to a folder of mine with my High-Tech High Leading Schools program work. Okay, I've also got a link to my blog, which is just general things that I've blogged about. I haven't really written anything for the last year, but it's got a lot of early stuff from Mark Oliphant when we moved to the new site and those types of things. Past years, okay, work that I've done in the past. So when I was at the adult campus at Para West, there's an example of my Moodle course, and I recorded a video of that. Okay, and that takes you to a YouTube link. So, and success stories, that was something new that I thought of the other day, and it's still coming together. I want to do some interviews with my ex-Year 12 students, and it's a lot easier, I guess, once they leave and they're not students, and I don't have to worry about, you know, I just ask them, hey, you happy to be interviewed? Could I do a video? And I'll have sort of things about what they're doing. So there's one Year 12 student in particular that's doing well, that I used to teach. So yeah, that was something different. It's up I mean, you could have, if you teach year 7s, you know, have a bit of a timeline about students or anything like that. Again, it's a discussion. So that was mine. I'm going to show you now a few different digital portfolios. Apologise for me sitting down. That's the only way I can sort of get through everything here. Okay. So this was my blog, all right, that I mentioned before. Okay. Lots of boring my reflection reading. There's some interesting things on there, but it was more like for me to document things. My principal actually started to read it and put comments on there. I'd get like this message of like, oh shit, what did I write? I'd be like backtracking, oh, was it bad? And I did write some, you know, things that I was concerned about and those types of things, but it was great. You know, then we had a discussion in, you know, in the staff room, and I'm not fired if you. Pardon? Yeah.
Parents read your blog as well?
Yeah, they could read it if they wanted to. Yep. I didn't mind. I mean, it was just thoughts about, it wasn't anything crazy, you know, it wasn't like 2 a.m. blurb, oh, I hate my job. It was more just about thinking, you know, I guess dissecting and looking at it in a critical sense of what was happening while we were moving to different directions and those things. So, this is Katrina Axford. She's an art teacher at my school, senior school teacher. She created her website using Wix, Wix.com. She paid for this only because she's got a nice little link called KatrinaAxford.com. Mine's slightly longer. You can pay for your own name and redirect to like Google Sites or other services, and it costs about $7 a year. So it's not going to break the bank. I'm not sure how much she pays because everything is hosted with Wix on her end. And it's the same style as Google Sites, okay? That's Katrina. That's our principal, Lynn. I'm sure you've seen photos of her recently. A little bit about her, okay? And some of the photos. Art teachers, I say, Katrina, you're so lucky, you know. I teach computer gaming, so I'll show you some videos of what my students have done and recorded, but art is one of those subjects that just lends itself to digital portfolios because, you know, you can put all your work on there. Okay, again, she's part of also the Leading Schools program. Some things. This is, I'll sort of take you to the stuff that she gives students as well, okay. Where are we? That's some of the projects that they've done actually. I'll go to 10. Okay, so they worked on Digger's Letter, World War II. Here's the project overview, images, resources, okay, stuff that she would have shared with students. Same type of things. Some of these might be linked to Google Docs, I'm not sure. And so on. So a lot of people sometimes when they see this, they're like, oh, wait a minute, like all my assignments, they're mine. You know, I don't want to share that with others. And I think what was interesting for me when I was talking to Katrina about it, I go, you know, these are great projects. She goes, and I guess when I was putting up computer gaming stuff, because it's a new curriculum area, you tend to sort of more link to you side with the idea of networking, and so I always think to myself, well, what if another computer gaming teacher went on my website and said, oh, this is great, you know, took one of my assignments and then emailed me back and said, this is what I do with my students, you know, this could work with you, and so on. That would be fantastic. And so that's why I sort of don't stress about putting assignments, and, you know, same with Katrina and a few others I'll show you, because it's that sense of, well, you know, yeah, someone might take your assignment or whatever, but there's a good chance that, you know, being teachers, that someone would probably actually try to make contact and go, this was fantastic, this is what I do, or here's a suggestion, and so on. So, you know, if you have that frame of mind, I think it's a great way to sort of feel, you know, passionate about putting your work on there. This is her blog. And then things, other SACE art show, YouTube links that she's put up for students, not her staff, and those types of things. Okay, so, you know, that's her blog. Very arty, isn't it? It's like art teacher videos and things like that. So, yeah. Okay. Another one, Craig Brown. He made his with Wix. He didn't pay for Wix. He's using free, and that's fine. It just means that you get a longer website address up the top. Okay, so his is laid out differently. Again, you'll see similarities. I know I promised I'd give you 5 minutes to sort of reflect on it, but I've kept talking. I just want to get all this out of the way, and then we can have a bit of a discussion. Resources from the students, student work, his bio, a blog again. So very similar in layout, slightly different with some of the headings. Okay, the assignment. Here's the links to Google Docs, so students can actually click on here and it'll take them to, I'll show you what happens. Okay, they can actually upload, all right, some of the work. Oops, don't close. All right, and last but not least, Olivia. Again, she did hers with Weebly. So, is that me? Is that the alarm? Nah, wasn't my. Okay, if the alarm goes off, then the presentation's over. Leave your comments.
So what did you call, what was this?
This one's Weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y. Okay, so Google Sites, Wix, Weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y. So this is just another, and all of these run straight from the web browser. You don't install a program, they're all drag and drop. It's basically, I'm going to show you a comment from that Olivia gave me, okay, and so did Craig, okay. Here we go.
It's really easy for the kids to use.
Yeah.
My journalist groups use it, and what we've done, we've attached a link from the newsletter, school newsletter, so it goes to their Weebly site.
Yep.
The website. The only problem is you can't really put photos on there because it is out on the net.
Yep.
So that's a bit restrictive, a little bit, you know.
But you still got the newsletter and it's linked. Yeah, it's great.
It's another link, and because last year we had problems with, you know, paper and cost and, you know, cost of paper, and we didn't have budget for it. So this is a good.
Definitely.
6-7's love it. It's
Yeah,
to use.
Weebly's a great tool. Like, I use Google Sites, I'm familiar with it. We've got Google Apps across the whole school, so every student. So, I mean, for me, it's also like just the support that I need to give it based on that it's used by everyone in terms of Google Docs. But I'm really open to people using whatever they find comfortable. Olivia wrote, oh, it's not even remotely finished, but you can use it if you want. This was when I sent her an email. She wanted to be part of something else. Craig, if you need some work to show, you can show them, but it's not finished yet. You get the idea? Like, everyone freaks out, oh, but it's not done. It's never going to be done, okay? You know, and he's like, best, greatest website in the world. So that's the thing. These are never finished. And very similar again, drama, SOS project, society and culture and so on that she teaches. Olivia is also a step 9 teacher, so she's going to put here, work in progress. So some of the work that she's done with that folder, when she did step 9 and digital portfolios didn't exist, she's going to put up in here. So if you've been through that process, or you know someone that has, often they walk away with a folder of work, and how to display it is this could be a way. So Liv would tell you she is a complete technophobe, so this looks like she's a professional website developer, so you know. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is portfolios from High Tech High, which is a school that I work with, that are completely available to anyone online. Okay, these are from teachers plus students. All right, I've talked a lot about teachers putting their digital portfolios, but they put up a lot of their students, and that's what our school is starting to do, because it's sort of like a way of, for our year 12s, year 11s, year 7s, year 6s, how do you keep this record of work that you're doing throughout school, the best quality of work? So, you know, if a student does, you know, a poor piece of work, they admit that it's poor, no, don't put it up on a digital portfolio. And it's a great way, it's a discussion to have with the student to say, hey, if you're putting something on the net for everyone to see, it needs to be like of a quality that you agree that you've worked really hard on it. We can see that you have, and it goes up there. So in that sense, a digital portfolio is not just the repository of like absolutely everything. You've got to be a little bit, you know, what would be the term? Specific or a bit cutthroat in that way. So
Do you have primary school ones?
yes, we do. I've got some that I can show from High Tech High. I don't have any yet from our school that I can show you. Okay, this is the students and their ampersand videos. Another student's work during her junior year. Okay, this was English class, so some of the work that they do, videos and so on. Again, this was made on Wix. All right. Okay, teachers, advisory resources and those types of things. Okay. Another teacher's website. I'm just going through them quick because I'm aware of the time. This is Jeff Robin. jeffrobin.com. I'd encourage you to have a look at that. He's another teacher that has, this is his digital portfolio, really different, you know. Here are some of the assignments that they do, okay. One guess of what area he teaches, okay. Oops, and that one, okay. And this is what they do at High Tech High, and this is what we're moving towards in Mike Oliphant. Okay, digital portfolios. Okay, I want to see the class of 2013. Well, I can go through, look at, and these are all the student names and their digital portfolios. So they're really quite open about all their work. You can also go have a look. All right, these are acronyms for their schools. So Chula Vista, which is one of their sites near Mexico, in San Diego. These are all their staff digital portfolios. Okay, so I envisage this will be somewhat common in the future. Don't know when, and I don't know at what point, but this will definitely be part of it. And in terms of when you go and you think about it, in terms of selling the school, often we do it through open days or parent walkthroughs and those types of things. Well, not everyone can get to those, not everyone has the time. Or what do you actually see? Well, it's generally a guided tour. This is a really different way of displaying what the school sort of is about and what it does, straight from the students or from the teachers. Yeah, it's controlled still, but I think you get a bigger sense of what is happening at the school. Okay, so that is that. I think I've been okay with time. I sort of haven't measured myself.
Very well.
Am I? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. This is my YouTube channel. All right. That's me, crazy. I know, like so refined now. Anyway, so I've got a YouTube channel and I've put up videos on some of the work that my students have done. Year 11 materials tasks, great projects. They loved it as well when I showed them the YouTube links. Because they were SACE students, they didn't identify themselves in terms of their name. They just said, you know, my SACE ID is da-da-da-da. But there are pictures of them on there, but that was okay, you know, so they're not named. Year 12 examples, and I've also got here for your interest, I'll pause it once it starts playing. I've started to put up a few videos on, a few videos of how to set up digital portfolio pages. I've sort of stopped at the moment, but I will do a few more only because there's so much resources already done by Google on how to set these up. This is all specific to Google Sites, okay? What's really interesting is, how can I see that? Okay, it starts off really great, like 76 views. I'm thinking, oh yeah, all the teachers are really engaged, you know, woohoo. And then it goes to, 23 views. All right, that's a bit of a drop. And then part 3, 6, crap, you know, it's getting like really low. I'm feeling bad, no, 4 views. So you can see that what I want to leave you by the end of tonight is what you got to be a little bit motivated in terms of that group. You've got to find yourself a partner, a buddy in class, in your school, and sort of say to them, listen, let's give this a bit of a crack, meet once a term, we'll set the day, half an hour after school, done. Otherwise, you know, it's very easy to sort of fall off it. You can see there, like, I didn't plan that Weebly tutorial. Okay, so there's a lot of things on YouTube that you can have a look if you need help. I think I've done enough talking. You may have some questions for me, but thank you so much for being a great audience. That's it. Thanks.